extremely suspicious. And that guy needs to be investigated. But that's what's wrong with the sport of boxing. These guys are able to do these crazy things, give these crazy rounds to the completely wrong fighter, and then they get to just walk off into the sunset and then continue judging fights. Continue judging big fights. Whew, man, oh man. Don't like to talk about this type of stuff, but something needs to be fixed. Something needs to happen to prevent this stuff from happening in the future, because this is ridiculous. So Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko wrapped up last night. Devin Haney is still the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, and it left an unsavory taste in a lot of our mouths. I would say it's about 50-50 from what I've seen. Many people think Devin won this fight, but many people think Loma won this fight. But this fight was a clear example to what is wrong with boxing and why so many of the top fighters are so afraid to put their O on the line and fight the big fights. This is exactly why. So I'm not the type to throw around the word robbery too loosely like many others are. It was a very, very close fight. It could have gone either way. There's a lot of those early rounds were swing rounds. They could have gone to either guy. I was edging them to Loma, so I did have Loma winning this fight. I was edging those rounds to Loma. I just thought Loma was a little bit more active. Devin Haney was on his back foot a good amount of the time, but the judges must have gave those rounds to Devin. So this is how Devin got the decision. I wouldn't say robbery. I wouldn't be so quick to say robbery. It was a close fight. It was a good ass fight. Yeah, a lot of us think Loma won, but this is why you can't have these close fights. This is why you can't lead the fight in the judges. Because everyone in the world might see it one way, but it was a close fight, so the judges might see it the other way. Only three guys only their decisions matter. And a robbery to me would be a fight that was very dominant by one fighter, not even close. Very clear win. So I can't say this fight is a robbery. I can't say it. But, of course, I thought Loma won. And I put out a poll last night after the fight to see who you guys thought won the fight. And the majority of you, it was almost 50-50, almost even. But the majority of you thought Devin Haney won, which is fair. Devin Haney banked in a lot of those body shots early on. The fight wasn't completely like super active straight from the beginning, but that's how a fight like this is going to go. These are very high-level fighters. This is a chess match. That's how this fight is going to go. They're not going to go straight into it. So I could see why a lot of you genuinely thought Devin won, because a lot of those early rounds were swing rounds. They could have gone to either fighter. Here's the problem with boxing. I'm going to get into it right now, and I'm going to go to one of the greatest minds, not in today's age alone, but in boxing history. One of the greatest minds in boxing history, Teddy Atlas, the legendary Teddy Atlas. He had something to say about this fight. And I always take note of what Teddy has to say, because he always takes note of things that you wouldn't even think of or you wouldn't even know. So let's see what Teddy Atlas had to say about this decision. So I see he first put up a post here saying, "Respect to both champions. I can live with the two scores, I guess, but not the 116-112. Clearly, Teddy Atlas thought Lomachenko won the fight. But, like I said, it was a close fight, so you can live with it. You can live with a close decision going to Devin Haney. You can live with that. But a 116-112 is crazy. But here, he's going to explain a little bit of what went behind the mind of the judge that gave that 116-112. And I think this is very interesting. Teddy Atlas says, "Someone told me that Dave Moretti gave 10th round to Haney. If that's true, he should be brought in front of commission to explain. It's confirmed Moretti gave Haney the 10th round. So now the omnipotent commission, there needs to act like commission and investigate. If Nevada commission doesn't call Moretti in and make him explain giving 10th to Haney, then we should start a petition to disband them." And this is precisely right here is what's wrong with boxing. This precisely right here is exactly why we're not getting the big fights that we should be getting. If we go to my live stream, live on stream, I said going into 11th round, I said 10th round, the last round. I normally like to give a little explanation of what happened that last round and the reason why I gave what round to what fighter. Going into 11th round, I said 10th round was definitely Lomachenko's round because he not only doubled up his punch count, but he landed double also. And I'm sorry, with nothing significant, no knockdowns, no serious, crazy, hard, ridiculous punches that wobbled the other fighter, with none of that going on, if one fighter not only doubles up the fighter's punch count, but lands the double amount of strikes, that fighter, without a doubt, gets that round. So it's very, very odd that a judge would see that round in Devin Haney's favor. Like, this is your job, right? This is what you're supposed to do full time. You're getting paid really good money to do this. How does everybody in the world see that round going to a Lomachenko, but you don't see it and you're supposed to be the professional? I just don't understand that. I don't get it. But that's what's wrong with the sport of boxing. These guys are able to do these crazy things, give these crazy rounds to the completely wrong fighter, and then they get to just walk off into the sunset and then continue judging fights. Continue judging big fights, too. And I don't think that's okay. I think the commission should definitely sit him down, have a word with him, throw that 10th round in front of his face and be like, look, why would you give this to Devin? Explain to us. Explain to us why you would give this to Devin. And if he has no answer for it, he has no business judging big fights. I'm not saying fire the guy. I'm not saying completely get rid of him, but he needs to learn a lesson. He needs to learn something. So put him back down with those lower fights, let him prove himself, and work his way back up to the big fights again. Because this is what's wrong. You're throwing these judges in there to judge these mega fights that don't know what the hell they're looking at. And that's not okay. That's going to drive these fighters away, and that's what's making these fighters scared to fight each other. Or that's what's going to make these fighters scared to fight each other, the big ones, because they're scared they're going to get duped. They're scared they're going to get robbed. They're scared that they're going to fight their ass off, and they're going to go to the judges, and they're going to completely rob them of a victory that they've earned. What's really wrong, to sum it all up, what's really wrong with the sport of boxing is that we're not holding these judges accountable. We're not. We're just saying robbery. Many of the fans are blaming Devin Haney. We shouldn't be blaming Devin Haney. He went out there and fought his ass off. It's not his fault that the judges gave him the nod. It's not Devin's fault. He went out there and fought his ass off. That's all he did. And the judges gave him a nod. We shouldn't be blaming Devin. We shouldn't be talking shit to Devin. We should be blaming that judge or the judges. If you really thought Loma won the fight, you should be blaming the judges. You should especially be blaming that judge that gave it that 116, 112, because that is absolutely crazy. So I don't like when a fighter gets the nod that we go and blame them, because it's not their fault. They just went out there and fought their ass off. It's not right to blame them. We need to start holding these judges a lot more accountable. And the commission needs to really start sitting these guys down and asking them, what is their thought process? And they need to start weeding out the guys that don't know what the hell they're looking at. And that's how we're going to get better officiating. But until then, we're going to continue to get bullshit like this. And I'm not saying that Loma should have won the fight. I think Loma won. But it was a close enough fight where they could have edged it to Devin. It's just that giving that 10th round to Devin is extremely suspicious. And that guy needs to be investigated. But thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.